I mean, I'm not gonna check it, usually it's fine. The sound was a bit fucked up though. Let me see. Is it still fucked up? Is it still fucked up? Yeah, why is my mic so low now? What the fuck? Yeah, why is my mic so low now? What the fuck? Yeah, why? The fuck is happening? Pause this for a bit. Yo, what? Hello? Hello? Okay, that should be fine. It didn't, but whatever, let's see. Let's see on stream audio if it's fine now. It's fine now. Hello, hello? It's fine now. Hello, hello? Yeah, this is better. Even higher, fuck it. Tiny bit. There you go. I'm just gonna do some routing. Maybe like 2 videos with a slightly different routing, or it's actually in the same video because it doesn't really matter, right? Just for smithing. Because there are probably a lot of smithing weapons that people would like to use. They're not using it just because of that. I'll show you this. Well, actually, yeah, I'll show the 2 routing to Liurnia and the 1 in Stonevale as well. I'm not gonna do like any edits or whatnot, I'm just gonna put the VOD on YouTube and yeah. You guys do with it what you want. And of course in this routing will include some money as well. Because without you won't be able to upgrade, right? So it'll be pretty meaningless otherwise. Always take first step, most cases, either this or Kale. But you'd want here. And I'll talk about some variations as well. For whoever wants to listen and put that, you know, variation into play or not. And in this case I'll get gate front, just because I know it's the most common one to get. But it shouldn't matter much anyway. If you get gate front or a Gil North, it's probably the same. It's just that you will miss cookeries, and cookeries are good.
They, sir, but you. I can play turning to 80. You need to the foot. Then it summon me. Ah, I bequeath. It will summon torrent. Treat him with.
First thing you do, you go to Storm's Shack. This is the first type. In this scenario, you won't hit the merchant in Liurnia. You will hit other merchants. And mainly because this will give you a foul foot. Also access to a cave if you want to, also access to poke needle, merchant check. It's pretty good. In terms of speed, it's not slow as though. It's just different, that's all. I'm not gonna take the Ash of War, usually you take it, but I'm not gonna take the Ash of War now. But, you know, I mean I'm gonna take it, fuck it, with one wieldable weapon, why not? You can do the skip or you can choose not to do the skip. The routing stays the same anyway. And the same with the next part that's coming up. You can do my skip or you can do the graveyard skip. The routing stays the same anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. You have something like Top Ski, you know, or Sacred Flask, or whatever the case may be, or Bell-Bearing Merchants, you can always take the Grace and do the Graveyard skip. But for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna do the skip and proceed to show the routing, and that's it. Since we have cookeries, right, that's the reason we took them. We're gonna pop some balloons along the way as well. That's why you keep a bit to the right side. Okay. That was flask. Be careful of those guys, right? Weave in and out a bit. Even if you lose 2-3 seconds, it's if they tag you, they might even kill you. So it's worth the trouble. Always do this check, but now we're gonna fast forward. For those who can't fast forward, might as well not do it at all and just proceed further. But do it this way, because this way is the best way. So take that grace and now you port here. The reason being, mainly, like I said, we will be needing money, and this will give us Dectus as well. But the main reason is because we want the sword seal, right? We want the sword seal and the money, because we're gonna be encountering some lobsters, and that extra HP will come in handy. And especially if you do runs like this, right? If you're in the setup phase, don't run too much, right? Like you can even switch at Stormer Shack, but that point in Luna is a good point to switch. Don't run too much to go grab the sword seal, right? Because the sword seal will also give you endurance, right? Stamina, so you can run more, especially when you're in combat. We grab these 2 5s and watch out for the combugs. This should do it. I say 99% of the cases you go this way, grab the rod grease, and always sit here, because you won't encounter Melina when you have to remove the trap. Always sit here, and now you pop out. We're gonna go just straight for Fort Farof. For the sake of the video, I'm not gonna fast forward. I'm just gonna take Fort Farof Grace and then immediately into the fort. This you jump once and you're good. Usually if you're stuck on that branch, just jump once, don't double jump on it like the last part, because it kind of tends to put you down, slide you down instead of sliding you up if you jump twice in a single point. That's why we have Mark, right? The Memory of Grace, we have it active. We're gonna use it a lot. After you take the Grace, right, obviously jump on your horse. We don't need any fancy tech, we just go. Don't punch the walls, don't do anything, you just go, it's fine. Right, a small jump here will help. And then on the ladder, even if you get poisoned, right, doesn't really matter. You just pop a flask at some point and you're fine. It's not like it'll kill you, so you don't need to delay it by punching the fucking wall, or I don't know. Some people do a lot of stupid shit, so I don't know. Here I like to pop a flask here, like that. You can just stop and pop it if you can't do the slow version and also fall. It doesn't matter, right? But just to be safe for this rat, I'm gonna take this, he's gonna do that usually. And here I like to jump early, right? Jump early on here and then go here. Because if I jump early, they won't have time. Like if they behave how they usually behave, it doesn't matter, right? But if they don't, I'll get fucked. And this is where you equip your talisman. for the road ahead, mainly because you don't want to forget about it. Right, that's why I always do it this way. After I pick it up, I equip it. Because sometimes if I don't, then I forget about it, right, for like the next 5 minutes. It's just sus, right? That's why we picked it up. We picked it up to use it, right? So we're gonna use it. We're gonna grab this money here and do the halberd check. And now we're gonna go straight for the portal. We're gonna go straight for some smithings, right? And the few that you will get are right over here. And we're gonna grab a set of 2 and a set of 3. You don't need to jump here. That's not. You can just jump down. That's obviously not required. You're not gonna take any fall damage. We're gonna hit this gazebo. We're gonna grab a set of 2s. Right, as you see, it's very close by that grace that we picked up. Right, not only money, but in general, that grace is very close by to a handful of smithing tools. And also, we're gonna go through here to hit this balloon as well. Right, and then go to our left. Gonna hit this balloon. Right, and these are where the lobster will spawn. Right, that one lobster will fucking spawn from underneath us or some shit. I think that one. We're gonna take this and immediately mog. Alright, and we have that grace, and now we go for the portal to Liurnia. And that's, I would say, the only stones that are out of the way. Right, but if you, depending on the board, you can choose to just keep going forward, right? You don't need to mog out after that, you can keep going forward, for example, for the Dragonkin Soldier. Right, like you don't need to mog out, but then for the sake of just upgrading, this is completely fine. Because you only lose 35 seconds to get those stones, and those are, I would say, those are the only stones out of your way. The 35 seconds stones, that's it. Anything else, it's just kind of working towards your advantage, right? You're just on your way. We're gonna grab just a few, not too many, right? Just a few. We're not gonna wanna spend too much time in here. And that's it, right? We're gone. And as you can see, this will be the second set of 2s. I think this is the location anyone knows, everyone knows. And we're gonna hit temple quarters. Most often temple quarters be better grace than the one after Smaragd, so I always like to hit temple quarter just because it gives access to a lot. Okay, I'm gonna have to be right back. Yeah, I'm back. So we'll continue. We're just gonna take them per quarter, like I said, we'll just take them per quarter. I know it's a shorter route through there, but tempo quarter gives access to a lot. Memory stones, explosive physics, trees, cyan, homuncular a bit closer. Even an axe check if you want to do beforehand or at some point in the game. If you know. And this is, you pick up all of them, right? And then you go behind and you pick up your last set of 3, right? So at this point in time, you have only 3 threes, you have 6 twos, and you have 2 fives. In case, for later. This is where we pick up our last stones. Another like 20 seconds detour. Just pick it up, immediately mug out. That's why we don't pop any runes, right? That's why we only have the sword seal, and it's just good. Now, the first time we pop the runes, we go towards the Dectus pretty much, right? And there are 2 ways of doing this. We go towards the other Dectus. This way is simply going forward. You can do the check here. Almost always do this check, right? If in my case now I wouldn't have done it, right? Because I have Great Katana. But just for the sake of general rule applies, you do that check always. And this part with the smithing ones has a lot of variations. As I said, I would talk about variations, right? And this part has a lot of variations. Like this right here, this is one of them. You can simply go ahead through here because it is the fastest way towards the other Dectus. And I'm routing it this way, obviously, specifically because it gets you closer to Dectus. Right, and because you have things, because otherwise you can do a bunch of shit and grab smithing stones from elsewhere, right? But not only they'll be out of your way, but you won't have progress, right? Because it's not like only what we've been doing is just grabbing stones, right? We've got the key to the academy, which is nice. We've got progress to the right side a bit of the academy of the Liurnia. We have Dectus. And now with this grace that we're gonna get hit here, we're gonna have some progress towards Fur Church. Right, this grace gives you, it's a bit closer than the one with Fur Church. And also it's a closer grace towards Shifra, if need be, right? So it's not bad to grab it, it's a bit of a detour, like 25 seconds. There's some money here as well in the middle. Right, but the nice thing is that you hit the map here, right? Just walk east, southeast, and you hit the map, right? And now it's the normal walk. You go through here, you take the physics, right? And you hit this merchant. This merchant we have free ones, and it's also a weapon check. And this is where you sell your runes, right? Because this is where we will upgrade as well. So you sell everything here. As you can see, we've got shit ton of money, right? Oh, there you go, we have grey stars as well. I just bought it because, but look at the money we have. Alright, take a look at the money we have. And on top of that, like I said, we have both Dectuses, right? And I'll show you the average timing as well that you, I mean, you should try to aim for this timing at least, right? Because while showing you stuff, I also made slight adjustment just to not bomb rush it like a maniac. Because timing can always be perfected. But I think the timing that I will have here, it's an average one, let's put it this way. It is very efficient, yes it is. But it's not to the, you know, 99 percentile efficient. It's just good. It's a very good timing, and that's it. Alright, we need a bit more decks, and we've got this. And now here, if that guy follows you, you can just square out, right? Or you can crouch here. Usually it will help crouching as well, even if he's there. See? And now the best grace to port is here. And the main reason is because you already have Dectus, right? The main reason to port here is because you already have Dectus, you already have the key, and you're already gonna go through the academy. You can go all the way to EG and go all the way around, but since we've grabbed the key, this is our fastest way into Altus. Right, and because usually this main academy is not a grace that you pick, but in our case, because we just want to sit, right, and enjoy round table, we will sit and enjoy round table here. So it kind of helps picking the grace up just for round table. It's also a grace that you normally don't pick up, so it's nice to have. Right. But the most important thing for this type of routing is that one, you have there are two things. One, you have access as in altus and areas, and two, you have money. I think those are the two most important things, because if you do upgrade routing differently, then you'll end up without money, or you'll end up going out of your way for money, which both ways sucks, right? We're gonna put the Ash of War on our katana, turn it to heavy. Now we're gonna have a katana +9. Pretty damn easy, right? And you can see, right, money wise, you can see we have a ton shit of money, right? And we're gonna also make our weapon wieldable. Alright, then you can see vigor wise, we can do this as well if you have any flasks, whatever. So we need 3 vigor, and that's it. But vigor, this class has already a bunch, right? But now I have a wieldable katana, grey katana. It's 19 minutes in. A wieldable grey katana +9, right? The idea with the key is because later on you might want to go inside and get the glintstone wet blade and turn your katana into with 2 statuses as well. But you have Dectus, right? So you can already like at this point in time you can just walk through the gate, get the first altus grace, and just kill Radan, right? Because you have a katana +9. There's no need. On the way to Radan, you're gonna get your force from here as well, right? So you're gonna be even slightly more upgraded. But this is the first version of it, right? This is the first version where you upgrade, and now I'm gonna show you the version through Stormveil. So the version through Stormveil starts the same. You don't do anything different pretty much, but the only thing that you skip, let's go from Gatefront actually. The only thing that you skip is the cookeries, right? Like cookeries can be skipped in this scenario because you're gonna have money from Stormveil. And we're just gonna go in Stormveil. That's pretty much that's it. That's just it. There's nothing else to it. We're just going to get into Stormveil because we just have enough in Stormveil, I guess. You grab this. You're gonna grab this as well. I don't want to load up another one, right? I could, but it's pretty much the same. So at least I'll get through market faster with this one, right? You do the same thing. You grab the grace. For the sake of timing, right, I will show you the timing as well, right? It's 21, right? So you can consider it 21 after Stormveil Shack. Right? You can look at it that way and just see how long it takes. Sure, this fight, if you want, you can add up like 30 seconds, right? Some people might take this grace, right? So you can add up even a minute, it doesn't really matter. But the timing kind of stays the same. And you can do something like this as well, by the way. Like, obviously not gonna kill him like that, right? So that's why I'm saying you can add some time. It's completely fine. The nice thing in Stormvale is that, don't forget, Godstock is a bell bearing. Alright, so not only works for the square itself, but after you open the gate you can kill him, and once you go to round table you'll have 2 extra weapon checks. Alright, so remember that part. Now we're just gonna casually go through Stormvale like we do, or at least like I do, because you guys always get hit by everything in here, so you know. There's that. I don't know why people don't follow a specific route, right? It's just, I don't really get it. It'll always stay the same with me. I'll always do the same. I find consistency in it, so why change it, right? It won't really make sense. You're gonna grab money here, gold rune 5 I think it is, or 4, yeah, 4 is fine. We're gonna go ahead and pick up the left side chamber grace. We're gonna pick the grace. If you're low on health, if you're low, you know, it was rough coming up here, you grab, you set at the grace, right? But if not, just gonna go here. You're gonna pick up the ones here if you want, doesn't matter, right? You're gonna jump down, and on this second ledge here you're gonna find 2 smithing tools, right? Which is huge. That's why we take left side chamber, because we want to port their back. If you have sorceries, right, you can go further and grab sorceries as well. But the main reason why we don't want to sit at the grace, because we are gonna port here anyway, so our flask and stats will be completely refreshed. Right, and because we don't need any more ones, we will get ones from I think a lot of people know these are cookeries, but you get ones from the room with Nefelilu, right? And this you just take a right and you will find a full pack of 3 smithing tools on this ledge here. And now you circle back around. This is important, right? You circle back around because it will speed up the route. And you just jump in here, right? You jump on this left edge and you just jump down, right? And that's it. You go in this little area and you'll grab your last 2. So we now have 6 tools, right? And this works especially good with Nefelilu, right? Because you end up here for your last smithing once.
Be proud.
Right, you'll have a here like 4 smithing. So this works very well with Nefelilu, right? Like it's a... That's the way to do it, right? You speak with her, have her set up, right? And then you simply walk, right? And this is 25, right? So from 21 it's pretty much the walk, right? It's literally the walk, the fight and the walk and open the gate, because that's all. Like by default it takes 6 minutes to walk, right? And we only put in like at most I would say 40 seconds, right? 40 seconds, and we have 6 2s and 6 1s, right? Like you're already at +6 smithing, right? And if you remember the other routing that we've done in once you get in Liurnia, you're already, you can the best way to do this after you kill Godric, you still take the graveyard, right? And because you're at +6, this routing, after you reach this point, it will go like this. You don't go over there, right? You can, but don't go over there, just go straight forward. Right, and the main reason for this is one, because it's slightly faster. Second, it's a different type of access, which I always like to have, right? As in Charborg, Knight, Scav, Dragonkin, Soldier, and whatnot. But the most important thing, that the reason why I like to do the smithing freeze here, right? And if you want access, you pick up the Grace, right? Pick up the Grace here for Knight, Scav, right? Because it's just nice. It's such a much closer Grace to have. In our situation with this form, it's also nice because the map is right ahead, right? So, I mean, if you think about the maps, then, you know, you can grab that one. But the main reason is because these stones here will bring me closer to Egypt teleport. Right, so instead of going through the portal, getting through the academy, taking the academy key, go all that way around, then coming back, going to the portal that way, it just takes more time, right? This way I will just hit a flower. I mean, I'm not gonna hit it, I'm just gonna pass by a flower. We'll have a smithing free pack, and if I'm not mistaken, it's exactly northwest, right? This direction is still a bit sus to me, but it should be around here. This isn't the one, right? It should be around here, the flower. Oh, I already passed the flower, unfortunately. So it's a bit more towards the outside. Yep, there it is. See, like, it's so, like, that flower is there, this flower is here, right? This is a pack of 3. So it is northwest, right? But you have to look for this flower, right? So you can take it a bit slow here, because it is a doozy because of all the fucking trees. Like, I know the pathing and I've just missed it. Sure, I can easily backtrack and know what it is, but, you know. But once you get a bit comfortable in here, it'd be nice, right? And now this is the last 3 that we take. Right, and from here we just simply go west and we'll hit the EG port, right? You can see the EG port that is close by, right? And like I said, you can also prep the Grace. The Grace is over there. You can see the tower, right? The Grace is over there for Dragonkin Soldier, for Ant Queen, upgrade material, even for the tree up there. Right, for the Bell-Bearing Hunters, the tree, Black Knife Assassin, Cemetery shit, like, there's a lot going in that Grace, so you can pick it up. But the reason why I like this routing is because it gives me kind of quick access into altus. Right, if I'm ready to go, and if there's stuff to go, and if I go for Stormveil, maybe I just want to go straight to altus. Right, because Stormveil would give me a lot of cash. Right, so +9 weapon is totally fine, because and the nice thing about it is that you can upgrade to EG, right? You never need to go to round table, and you just go towards altus from here, right? Sure, this routing in altus, besides Radan, I would say everything in altus would be better fought with the Scarab, right? So make sure to take this Scarab as well, right? Whenever you get into altus, there are very few bosses that, I mean, besides Gelica, I guess, and Crystallians, and maybe when Apostle turns into Transition, there are very few bosses that you can fight with Wild Strikes, right? But if you get this, you'll pretty much double status them, and double status them will be huge. Like, +9 with double status is already enough to carry you through the entire game. Okay, like, no joke, double status is already enough. As you can see, stones we already have again up to +9, right? And you can calculate it at this point, right, how long it took you to get here, right? So from 21 minutes we've got 10 minutes, and you still have a +9, right? You can take into consideration the 2 minutes Godric fight, and that's it, or 3 minutes for some, right? But the timing is the same, right? The timing will be the same. 12-13 minutes will be the same, right? For the other 8 minutes, 9 minutes is just the access that we grab, but the timing for stones will be the same, because in the Urnia you don't go out of your way, and in Stormveil you also don't really go out of your way. Sure, you go out of your way for up to a minute, right? But that minute also preps you for something else, right? In this case, Stormveil give like what Stormveil has, of course, on top of the squares on the board, but Stormveil has money. So you need to understand that Stormveil has money, right? Like for people who are not comfortable with playing with 15 vigor, fuck, just go through Stormveil route, right? Maybe it's like kill Godric with fist only, right? Or some shit, or Colossal, even if it's in a shit spot, right? Just kill it, be done with it, you know, get fucking loaded, have a +9, and just play with +9 and filled with stats, right? Because you will get this scatter, and once you get the scatter, trust me, +9, bleed and cold, most weapons with bleed will carry you through the entirety of the game. Some fights might be slightly slower, but they will for sure carry you. And the next big part, because I think this is also important, that's why this whole routing comes into play with Dectus, right? The whole routing comes into play with Dectus. No matter if you go Stormveil or not, Dectus you will always have. But the importance of Dectus also comes into play for your upgrade, right? Because once you go to... What am I doing? Once you get to altus, just to not split too much, right? Because you could split too much. You remember we've picked up the Grace near Fur Church, right? So we can always go to that Grace near Fur Church, right? And you can see Fur Church is quite close by, and then you can jump up in the Magma Worm tunnel and grab our force there. Right, it's fine. Like, I'm not saying it's not. It's fine, but you're splitting too much, right? So at this point, when maybe altus has more, you have more to take from altus, go into altus, right? Because altus will not also make you a bit stronger, because in terms of sacred seeds along the way, right? So you can tank more damage, especially since we already have good HP and whatnot, and good stats. But will everything you fight in altus will give you more money, right? And in altus are kinda the only graces that once you get in here, I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna get in here so fast, or you know, but once you get in here, I'd say Altus Junction that we have in season 6 as well, it is a very important grace, because it's quite pivotal. You can pivot from it to Tibia Mariners, to Gillica, Godfroy. You can go left towards Apostle and Somber Bellbearing 2, or you can go right, and this is where we're gonna go, and this will be the first thing that we're gonna hit once we reach an Altus, right? Because I'm saying you can definitely play with +9 for the entirety of the game, but I would like for people to set themselves up for success, right? I feel like that's a very important thing to do. Like, why stick at +9 when sure it might be like a minute and a half-ish, 2 minutes, you go 2 minutes out of your way, right? But since we already grabbed the 2 5s in the Falling Star Beast one, right, why not grab the 4s, right? And the easiest way, especially since you've gone through Stormveil, but in general you'll have money. Once you reach Altus at this point, you'll have money, right? And even if you don't have money, you can kill a boss in Altus. You can kill Gillic, right? And it's fine. You kill Gillica and you'll have money, and they're not very that expensive either. And we're gonna hit this grace just for progression towards other stuff. There's a seal over there and the capital run over there, and we're just going to grab the Smithing Bellbearing 2. It might even be on the board, But this run is not that slow. This is like a minute and 20 seconds in and out, so it's not that slow. But this run will give you plus 13, right? That's why it's worth it, because from plus 9 you'll go up 4 levels. Because there's 2 smithing 5s that are we've got, they're completely they're completely on our way, right? So we never spent a second grabbing those. That's why it's worth it to do this now, right? Usually I like to come in here with like Godric Remembrance if I've been through Stormveil, just so I have like less runes and I mog out, and then whenever I want I pop Godric Remembrance, right? But you have some money here as well. But in general, it doesn't really matter, right? Just spend a bit more time to go out the normal way, right? Like, it just doesn't matter. If you spend 10 more seconds, 20 more seconds, at this point, the format is pretty slow on its own, so it shouldn't matter at all. And I'll show you that they're very cheap as well. I'll just go to round table now. And you just offer a bell bearing. You purchase 6 smithing 4s. See, it's 900 each. Alright, so it's not that bad. They're not that expensive, right? You need like 12k, 13k to upgrade it. It's not that bad. Curious if I can upgrade with my money, because I didn't have that much. But let's see it. I can, right? It's not that bad, right? It's not that bad at all. And on top of that, right, like I said, we can put cold infusion. Right, so now I have a great katana with cold infused, right? With bleed and cold, which is pretty fucking dope. Alright, plus 13, you don't need any more than that. Right, like this is it. Like this is your weapon. Alright, timing wise, you're on very good timing. Right, you probably already marked 2 squares and you're here. Right, or maybe 3 squares and you're here. Right, I would say on average this is a 2-3 square mark depending on the squares, right? Surely maybe if you mark something like imbued sword keys, I don't know, it might be just 1, but it's probably between 1 and 3 squares and you're already at this point in the game. This is average? Yeah, it is average. It's not something, you know, because you have to be fast at squares. But this is how you have to think about it. Right, like all of this literally can be done by anyone. It doesn't really require skill, it doesn't really require mechanical optimization, whatever the fuck. Just watch the video, you follow it 1, 2, 3 times, right, however long it takes, and afterwards you'll be kind of defaulted to this routing, and you can always default back to it, right, if that makes sense. Of course you can route a square or 2, right? Once you get good at this routing, you can obviously, and you should, route your squares, your early game squares, right, within this routing, because then it just makes more sense, right? Then you're not spending any time at all. Right, we're talking there, you spend like 1 minute here and 1 minute there, but if you route your squares that way, you're spending none of that, right? So not only you make the routing more efficient, but you also get a square on top of it. Right, so you can have 3 squares at 39 minutes and be in altus with a plus 13 whatever weapon of your choice, double statuses. Because the most important thing is money. Like I said, I had 20k, right? I had 20,000 runes, and that's the most important thing. And you almost never go out of your way. You could say you go, but Fort Farah, 20 seconds to grab the money and the sorcerer, it's way too important. That 20 seconds means 5 minutes in the game. Literally. That's the one that's a no-brainer. Anyone should go for. The balloons that you pop all the way to this grace, a no-brainer. Anyone should pop them, right? The balloons here. The pickups here, always get them and do the halberd check. You never know, you might get the Banished Knight's halberd plus 8, right? So you can already play with that. You can do shit. You don't even need the. You can route your upgrades, 2 minutes upgrades later on, right? You don't need to do it there and then because you already have a +8. When you go to the other side, right, it's the same thing. You already have the key into the academy. Yeah, we have, like you can see on the map, we have a lot of access, right? We have a lot of access. We have EG. Maybe you decide, maybe you kill, maybe the death right bird is held since for a long time on the board, I don't know, and maybe you kill it at 40 minutes, 45, and you decide to kill it. Maybe you get lucky and get death pokers, right? Maybe you check the Bellum High merchant here, right, and you get death pokers from there. You never know. That's why EG is good to have. Maybe you want to switch to that weapon, right? And this routing is better than shop routing, right? This, because whenever you go to the merchant, the reason why I, like you see here, I refuse to go to the merchant is because it is faster, right? It's a good 45 seconds faster. If you have to hit the merchant, your routing will be slower, right? And that's timing it in a almost perfect manner, right? It can be a minute and a half faster, right? Maybe you forget to sell, you have to rejoin, you forget the grace at the merchant, some people aggro you towards your line towards the merchant. Like, it can be different. It can be up to a minute plus, right? And the merchant is fine because it's a weapon check, right? And the only reason when I would route the merchant, everything would be the same, right? But from here I would hit the merchant. The only reason when I would hit the merchant is when, like, the weapon seed is complete garbage. That's when we hit merchants, right? That's when we pick up things differently, right? As a nice example would be, for the next pack of Smithing Freeze, we go Saint Bridge, right? The reason being is because it's a merchant, right? That's why we routed it this way as well, because it's a merchant here, right? That's why we grabbed this grace early on, right? Then we went this way towards Fort Hyde because it's a merchant there. And merchants are always great, especially if, like I said, the seed is bad. If you have Box Needle, another merchant that sells free Smithing Freeze is the Beach Merchant, right? And the way you go through the Beach Merchant, and not necessarily to rush Box Needle, right? Maybe you rush Caves, right? Maybe whatever. What I would like is for you can sell a piece of armor, right? You can sell a piece of armor early on. It won't matter, right? A piece of a helmet, for example. You grab this foul foot, right? And then you go towards the merchant. Foul foot is big, right? If you can grab a foul foot will be big. You can, like I said, this format is slow, so you don't need to hold it for something like Radan later, and you can even pop it at Godric, at Smaragd, right? And then you can sell, like I said, you can just sell a piece of equipment, right? In our case, I have this, right? I can sell this from Gatefront, right? I can sell the shield, right? I can sell garments, I can sell the helmet, sell anything just to get the 600 runes to grab free smithing. That's all you need. You need 600 runes. Sure, if you see something like this, you might be like, oh, wait a minute, let me sell some more, right? Because it's worth it, right? Then you grab Golden Halberd in this case as well, right? And then you go for the cave, right? Some people even prep this area, right? Because maybe the square is in a shit position, so some people even prep this area. I've seen people hit that merchant just to do weapon checks and they prep this, but they don't do it and they just go out, which is not bad at all. You can do that also, right? But I would say this is it, right? This is everything that you kind of need to know. There's nothing else. I hope you make good use of it.